In this video, we're going to be learning about types of numbers. There are 7 types of numbers we're going to be learning in this video. So, the first type of number is a natural number. Natural number. So, what is a natural number? Natural number is any number initiating from 1 to 0. Any number from 1 to infinite. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and onwards till infinite. The second type of number is whole number. Whole number. A whole number is any number from 0 till infinite. Any number from 0 to infinite. So simply the difference between a natural number and a whole number. A natural number is from 1 till infinite, while a whole number starts from 0 till infinite. Example: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till infinite. Now, the third type of number is an integer number. Integer number. What is an integer number? Well, an integer number is any whole number that can be positive or negative. Or you can say an integer number is any number that has a sign behind it. Let's write that down. Any whole number that can be positive or negative. Example of this one is 3 minus 2 minus 6, 2, 1, 5, minus 8.1, and onwards. The fourth type of number is a rational number. Rational number. And what do we mean by rational number? Rational number is any number that can be converted or represented as a fraction. So rational number is any number that can be represented as a fraction in the form a over b. Examples of rational numbers are like 9.468, 2 over 3, minus 3.4. Now, you might be wondering, why did I write 9.468 here and minus 3.4 here when it says fraction in the form a over b? Shouldn't it be like this one? Well, we said rational number is any number that can be represented as a fraction. You can still write 9.468 in the form of fraction. You can still convert minus 3.4 as a fraction. So what do we understand by this? Let's write a small note here. Note. we understand that all real numbers are rational. All real numbers are rational. Why? Because all real numbers can be converted or represented as a fraction. So before moving on to the next type of number, I just want to draw a illustration here which will represent these four types of numbers and make it easier for you to understand them. So let's make a big circle here. And let's say this circle is only rational numbers. So this circle is rational numbers. Then let's make another circle. This circle, actually let's make the circles a bit bigger. Yep. And this circle is only integers. And now let's make another circle. And this circle is only whole numbers. And now the last circle, this circle is only natural numbers. So all rational numbers are integers, and all integers are whole numbers and natural numbers, and all whole numbers are natural numbers. So it's like a loop. Okay, let's put in some examples now. For example, rational numbers, we have, for example, 2 over 3, we have minus 2.8, 8.12, minus 1 over 1 over 5. For integers, numbers like minus 2, plus 9, minus 5, 0. Whole numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 8. Natural numbers like 1, 2, and 3. So this illustration is a representation of these type of four numbers. It states that rational numbers are all these type of numbers, while integers are just whole numbers and natural numbers. And a natural number is just a whole number but without starting from 0. Now let's move on to the fifth type of number. Our fifth type of number is going to be prime numbers. The fifth type of number is prime number. What is a prime number? Prime number is a number that has only two factors. A number that has only two factors, which are itself and 1. What do we mean by factors for those who do not understand here? Factors are the two numbers that make up a number, the two numbers that multiply together to make up a number. For example, we have the number 8. The factors of 8 are 2 and 4, because 2 and 4 multiply together to give 8. So for example, let's take another example, 16. 16. The factors for this one are 4 and 4. Now a number can have multiple factors, like let's say 6. 6 is a number with only two factors, two sets of factors. We have 3 and 2, and we also have 6 and 1, because 6 times 1 is 6 and 3 times 2 is also 6. Alright, so let's just get this out of the way now. Now, there are two key points we need to understand or remember about prime numbers. The two key points are, the first one is 2 is the only even prime number. 2 is the only even prime number. All other prime numbers are odd numbers. We'll understand the difference between odd and even numbers in a bit. Next key point is that 1 is not a prime number. Why? Because 1 has only factor, which is itself. So 1 is not a prime number. Why? Because 1 has only one factor, itself. Now this may be a bit confusing in some exams, but if you remember these, it should be easier for you. Now let's list some examples of prime numbers. Now there are many prime numbers, but I'm only going to list a few. These are just some you can remember. So examples of prime numbers, such as 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, 37, 41, 43, 47, 53, 59, 61, 67, 71, 79, 83, 89, and 97. Of course, there are more prime numbers, but I've only listed the prime numbers up to 27 here. And these are all numbers that only have two factors. Now let's go back here to the first key point here, where we said 2 is the only even prime number. Well, what do we mean by even prime number? Let's understand that. So there are actually two more types of numbers. The 6th and 7th type of number is going to be even and odd numbers. So the 6th type of number is even number. Even number. What is an even number? Even number is any number that is divisible by 2. Any number that is divisible by 2. By divisible by 2, we mean that any number that you can divide by 2. For example, 2 or 4 or 6 or 8. These are all numbers that you can divide them by 2 and they will give you a answer. So, for example, 2, 4, 8, 12, and so on. Odd number is just the opposite of even number. Odd number is any number that is not divisible by 2. So odd number here is any number that is not divisible by 2. For example, 5 or 13 or 11 or 7 or 17 These are all numbers that are not divisible by 2. Let's write a few examples down. 5, 7, 11, 13, 19. And as you can see, some of these odd numbers are the same as the prime numbers here, because as we said, all prime numbers are odd numbers except 2. 2 is the only even prime number. So these were these 7 types of prime numbers. Sorry, my bad, 7 type of numbers that we would take. Let's do a quick recap of all the numbers from the beginning. So the first type of number is a natural number. Natural number is any number that starts from 1 till infinite. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and onwards till infinite. Whole number is the same thing as natural number, okay, but with a 0. It starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and onwards. Integer number. Integer number is any whole number with a sign behind it. We usually refer to these as a positive number or a negative number. A number with the minus sign behind it is a negative number, and a sign with the plus sign behind it is a positive number. Positive and negative. Like 3 minus 2 minus 6 minus 8 minus 12. Alright? Rational number. Rational number is any number that can be represented as a fraction. And all real numbers are rational numbers. So any number that you can write as a fraction, it is rational. This is an illustration that represents the 4 types of numbers above. That rational numbers are also integers, whole numbers, and natural numbers. And then we have integers, which are also whole numbers and natural numbers are just natural numbers. The 5th type of number is prime number. Prime number is a number that has only 2 factors, itself and 1. 2 key points to remember here are that 2 is the only even prime number, the rest are all odd, and 1 is not a prime number because 1 has only 1 factor, which is itself and itself. Here are some examples of prime numbers, which I advise you to remember these as it will help you, because these are the very most common prime numbers that are used. The 6th and 7th type of numbers are even and odd numbers. Even number is simply any number that is divisible by 2, any number that you can divide by 2. It will give you a product, like 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, 4 divided by 2 is equal to 2, 8 divided by 2 is equal to 4, 12 divided by 2 is equal to 6, and so on. Odd number is any number that you cannot divide by 2, so it's the opposite of an even number. For example, if you try to divide 5 by 2, you will get an answer at a decimal. You will not get a whole number. Alright, now I want to tell you 3 irrational cases. So if we come back here, we took the 4th type of number is a rational number, any number that can be represented as a fraction. But there are 3 irrational cases where a number is not rational, and how can we identify these cases? So, 3 irrational cases. What are these 3 irrational cases? The first one is a square number. A square number that is not a perfect square. Or to make it simpler, let's say a square root. A square root that is not a perfect square. We can also define this full term in one word called surd. Surd is a square root number that is not a perfect square. What do we mean by that? For example, we have the following numbers: root of 10, root of 2, root of 3. These are all roots of numbers, but they are not perfect square. Perfect square is any number made of two same numbers multiplied together. For example, 36. 36 is a perfect square. Why? Because it's made of two same numbers multiplied together. 6 times 6. Another example is 14. 4 is also a perfect square because it's made of two same numbers. Sorry, my bad, not 14. 16. Because it's made of two same numbers. 4 times 4. For example, 9. 9 is also a perfect number because it's made of two numbers. 3 times 3. So two same numbers that multiply together to give a number. This number is a perfect square number. So a square root, a number that is not perfect square like 10, 2, or 3, that have any two same factors that multiply together, this is an irrational number. This is the first irrational case. The second irrational case is a decimal that is not recurring. Or we can say a non-recurring decimal. To understand this point, we first need to understand what is a recurring decimal. Recurring decimal. A recurring decimal number is usually written in them, for example, 0.2 with a dot on top. This dot refers to the number being consecutive. So any number with this dot on top means this number is a consecutive number of times. So this is a short highlighting the actual, which is going to be something like 0.22222. Then we have another example, like let's say 0.34, and 4 is recurring. Now, since 4 has a dot top, that only 4 is going to be repeated. Actual number will be something 0.3 and then 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Another example, if the number, but it's 0.34 and both have recurring. This way, both numbers are repeated a number of times. So the number would be something like 0.34343434, and so on. So now that we know what is a recurring decimal, any decimal that is not is irrational. It is not a rational number. For example, 1.2468913, 2.3798. These are both decimals which are non-recurring. They don't have any consecutive set of numbers that is repeated more than once. So it is an irrational number. The third type of irrational case is also known as pi. Pi is a symbol that represents a number, and all that you need to know is that pi is an irrational number. Now, in this video, we're not going to go in detail about pi, what is its value, and how to solve and find pi. What you need to know is that pi is an irrational number. So these are the three irrational cases where numbers are not rational. In all other cases, numbers are rational, and all recurring decimals are rational. Let's actually write this down here. All recurring decimals are rational. And that's it. So in this video we learned the 7 types of numbers: odd number, even number, prime numbers, rational numbers, integer numbers, whole numbers, and natural numbers. And we also learned how to identify whether the number is rational or not, where we have 3 irrational cases to identify whether the number is rational or not. If you have any comments, I'll be more than happy to reply to them, and see you later in the next video.